I took a look at this a little bit. I noticed that it's 8 minutes long, so I assume you guys get rolled.
Oh yeah, we get shit on. We didn't even get first pick.
It happens. It happens.
I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, especially new maps, like the pathing just seems off. I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain it, but it's
Yeah.
off.
This first point, at least, if you get held here on this first point, then like you just focus on the pathing of this first point. It's really less about the cart and more about like displacing them from these chokes. And I'll show you in a second. So first, while this is getting ready, I don't really understand why both teams are playing soldier. I think that like Sojourn is like a better soldier. She does everything that he wants to do and more. So I'd probably sub this out for like probably Tracer would probably be the best option, because then it can enable you to kind of like go on off angles with like 4 people and just have Tracer push cart. So
swaps.
yeah, so I would so like right here, what happens is I know you guys go all the way up here and then someone gets picked. You can swap out the oh no, that's wrong team. Swap out the soldier for a tracer. And then what's going to happen is the 4 of you can go up here and fight them from up here while the tracer pushes the cart. And then once the cart gets to like maybe like right here, she can go up behind and help you out if need be. And what that does is it like gives you guys a kind of a chance to fight them without getting poked like this, because like you have an even poke, but at least you can kind of like try to close the gap to make it a little bit easier. Because then you can kind of get the most out of both of like Ramacha's like kind of like tempo states, I guess, where he's like first you go all pokey and then once you get resources out from them that you can go in with the nemesis. So you do that next fight, which is good. But what happens is you guys are kind of just like forced to push the cart here.
Yeah.
And you get out poked from the high ground.
Should you worry about cart like at the beginning? Like, should you worry about pushing it here? Or should you just rotate into them?
So like most of the time, you just want one person to push the cart, one like the most mobile character on the team to push the cart, while the other entire. Sorry.
So like the tracer, if we had it, that would be the personal card.
Yeah. So you guys are playing a comp that kind of like doesn't let you do that, right? And you want to get the most like soldier. Like I said, soldier and sojourn like do the same thing. So you kind of just have 2 of the same DPS, one doing a little bit more than others. So if you had the tracer, you could have the tracer just push the cart up here. She can just hide behind the cart. Nothing they can really do about it. Once the cart gets to like right here, then she can just go up here, and you guys will come up here and fight them from right here. So it kind of like you're not only you getting cart progress, but you're also fighting them on even ground. Basically.
Yeah, because you always want high ground, right? High ground or even ground. Like, that's the most beneficial.
Yeah. You never want to be at a disadvantage. So if they're on high ground, you go high ground. Or if there's not like a way to deal with the high ground, like if it's like, say they're on like a good like example would be like on Oasis in the middle one with the hole in the middle, where if you guys want to go point and push them to drop, if that's how you want to play, you'd like go into the left and put every single person other than the tank in that little like lip under the high ground, and then as soon as they drop, then you push out on them. That's like one instance of like kind of forcing them off the high ground. But if it's just like this high ground right here, like you can just shoot them. But for this, you have the path. They made this path to get up there. So like if you use this while the tracer pushes cart, like I said, you're basically just getting the most value out of your team without having to just sit here and poke.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of a better approach. Hoop kind of goes on her own right there and dies. But considering the cart got here, that was a pretty like decent like rotation, I would say. You guys just kind of lost the fight. The rotation was good.
Now, like, like, inting hard, is that what you want to do, or do you want to try and play for the fight, or just try and even it out?
Like, as Ramatra specifically?
Yeah.
So, Ramatra, for there's like 2 like states of the fight when you play Ramatra. The first is like the early poke, where you kind of like, you can go up here. If you say you went up here, I would like put my shield up right here and just start poking at them. Because what's it's going to do is it's going to force them to use resources like in return. So like say they use their own Ramatra shield, or say like soldier uses his heal to help them, or Moira throws an orb out, and while you're poking, you're getting your ult charge from for your team, and you're getting resources out. And then once that happens, once your shield goes down, then you can Nemesis form in because you're gonna have that advantage. So like there's like two states. The first is the poke and get resources out. Second, go in, and then by the time if you say you win the fight, or it becomes like a long fight, by the time your Nemesis form ends, you probably will have your shield back. So you can just redo that again, where you're kind of like maybe poking from a little bit less of a distance because you're in the middle of the fight. But Ramacha's really good at cycling his abilities, like cycling those two states, because his Nemesis form lasts so long.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds, and then you have your shield back.
Yeah. Like I think Ramacha needs to be nerfed. I mean, for an ability that as powerful as Nemesis form, it shouldn't be the same time as the cooldown. Like the cooldown's 8 seconds, it lasts for 8 seconds. That's like if Baptiste's cooldown on his lamp was like 8 seconds, because that's how long the lamp lasts, instead of like 18. So I believe this. I looked at it a little bit. I believe this fight you go up here. Yeah, nice.
Then they know and they rotate.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fine, because I mean Parker does get picked, but what I would probably do is they use their shield but you don't. So like I would like at least put your team, if you want to go up to the left of this pillar, at least put the shield like right here, and then the team can come in more. Because like he gets picked before the shield even comes out, so like the fight just never like you guys lose that fight, but just because you didn't press right click like 2 seconds before, that's what happened. So like I would say at the beginning of this fight here, let me use my trusty pen here. So you come up here, depends on where they're playing. If they're playing back here, where they are just giving you this space. Like most of the time I want to play like right here and just literally deny them as much space as possible, because then that gives me the shortest avenue to get to you with my Nemesis form. So I will just poke, because you're playing the same character, I don't have to worry about you just like doing something different because you're trying to do the same thing as me. So I will just poke here, and as soon as I see something come out, like if they're playing this team, like if I see, like if I hear amp, or if I see soldier heal field, or I don't know, she throws her nade out, then I will just go in with Nemesis form, walk right past their Ramatra, and start like pummeling his Lucio. And he's probably gonna die because they don't have a Kiriko. But what happens is they do like something really bad for themselves, is they give you all this space to kind of push up, and then you not only do you have all this space, but you also have this natural cover, so you can just set up the shield like maybe right here or maybe right here, and no matter what, you're giving your team a huge area to use. And then once their shield's burned, then you go in with Nemesis form, and you're so close to them that you can just get the maximum value out of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That was a bad ram ult.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It happens. Okay.
This ends now.
I think I played too much in open space.
If you're gonna play monkey, I would like play to, because you don't want to take enough damage in the like middle of the space where you have to use your bubble. So yeah, I'd probably play like right here, maybe just like right behind here. You're pushing the cart, and then jump on them. One thing that I saw here is that
I've got you in my
make sure to like identify things that you should be in front of. And what I mean by that is if he ults, I immediately will want to look to where he is and jump on him, and just deny the ultimate. So you jump on the Ramatra here, I would like wait, and like, so if I'm standing where you were, like I can see the soldier come up here, like, oh, I want to get on him, right? And what happens is if I jump here, most likely these guys aren't going to kill me because you have your healers that are alive. So you jump on these guys, you bubble them. not only do you cut these guys off from dealing damage to your team, but their Macho's now alone.
Man. Yeah.
So it kind of like it splits them into two things. So the bubble goes down. Sojourn can't shoot at them. Soldier can't shoot at them. I mean, Moira can, but I mean, it's just the ultimate. And then Ramatra's by himself. Now he's an easy pick for your Kiriko and your Genju's coming in and your Sojourn and your Lucio. They can go dive on him, and you're denying that. And then once he's either dead or used all his abilities, then you can fight these guys.
Yeah.
So he should be jumping on a soldier that's ulting
Yeah, absolutely.
while he's ulting? I
Yes,
see.
absolutely.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I always wondered about that.
Monkey has a lot of armor and he can't headshot.
Like,
Gotcha.
at that point, Murph, like, I would give my life and die to stop the soldier ult killing my team.
Okay. Okay.
Like, that's the point of the tank now. Is there's no kind of like you need to take all the damage and you need to stop everything from them that they're doing. Like if a Sojourn is ulting, I will get in their face and stop them from hitting anybody else. Same thing with
So
Soldier.
if he's jumping to on top of an ulting soldier, then I should be enabling him instead of just kiting the soldier.
You can like see what's happening. Like if he gets a good bubble on the soldier and the soldier has to either like if the soldier goes into the bubble with the monkey, that's bad. Like if you bubble right here and the soldier goes into it, like you can probably kill him before he does it, before anything happens.
Especially if you play with the edge of your bubble, then you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
Bubble
Okay.
dance. So most likely you won't need to help him. The soldier either has to go in and try to kill the monkey and die,
Or run
or
away.
leave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 4 seconds of the buys are wasted. But if he gets low, you can throw a Suzu or you can heal him or something. But most of the time, if he's doing that, you just want to like look here and help the team.
Okay. It's helpful.
Trust your tank.
Hey.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Your end is within my reach.
Hello.
I think you guys win this next fight. So I noticed that you won. I didn't see how you won. So
60
I'd like to see this.
remaining. Made manifest. Clear out.
Pick on him.
We win.
Yeah, you do, yeah. Trade beats.
And then the Ramatra goes out of position.
Yeah, kind of over ult there a little bit, but that's okay. So
30 seconds.
Yeah,
That was-
we overult bunch. I do notice that.
yeah, and a good way to do that. There's two ways to do that. First, you pre-fight plan on which ults to use, and second, if it becomes a long mid-fight and you might have to use another ultimate, what I ask my players to do is I'll tell them to ask the team if they should use it. That's like so helpful. Be like, should I blade? It takes 2 seconds, like not even a second, for someone to say no or yes, right? Like if I
Right.
like, it takes me a second to look at what's happening and say he needs to blade, or he doesn't need to blade. Like, should I blade? Should I beat? Should I Suzu? And that's our flex support has that problem where he uses his ult way too late. So he's working on that as well. But something that I saw here is that something that you might not think you can do, which actually is really helpful, is when you're if you want to dive their team,
Hello.
what you can do is, I made a little too far. Go to like
remaining.
right here. Okay. So instead of diving them like this and putting your bubble down, when you dive like this, you're denying them from healing your team. You're hitting your team, but like look at where your team is right now and what they have to do to like help you. So Fox, Boop, Parker, and Murph are all back here. When you jump, you're increasing the distance away from them. So now you're kind of like putting yourself on this island, and Fox has to use an ability to get to you. And I'm assuming that Murph is going to TP to you. She's using speed right now to get to you, and Parker's not even in position. So what I would do is you can either do one of two things. You can either go with your team and go up here and then jump and like bubble down and separate that, and then they have this avenue to help you. Or you can you can go up here or go up here, push the cart. You're not going to die. And while your team goes up this way, and you can jump on them and kind of like pinch them. So you can jump, if they're right here shooting you can jump, bubble, and then you're like behind them and your team goes in and you can pinch them. because then, like, I know you guys win this fight, but either way, you can make it easier to on your team to like put them in a position to help you instead of them having to use all these abilities. Because now Parker's now trying to slide to come over here. So every single person on your team used the movement ability when you probably didn't have to, basically.
Now, could taking shorter jumps fix that as well?
I guess it depends on where you're diving. Like if you're diving from here, a shorter jump would be fine. But if you're right here, if you're going to do this where you're going to jump up here, I probably wouldn't shorter jump because you might not even make it. So yes, from here a shorter jump would help. Or maybe from like up here a shorter jump would help because you can land right here. You don't want to land like right here because then that might be bad. But if you land right here, you can bubble down and then like drop if you need to. But in situations where a shorter jump is required, yeah, but like a shorter jump if you're gonna jump here you'd probably not even make it if you try to do a short jump. But both teams invest a pretty good amount of ultimates. I mean, they used one, but they used two the previous fight. But you guys use 3 there, specifically both support ultimates.
Yeah, we didn't call.
And there's also a few seconds that this isn't even being pushed.
Yeah, we.
That's something we have to work
we
on.
would have capped if we
Kept pushing.
Yeah.
Just remember, Murph, that you have long-range heals, so you might be able to play on cart.
Yeah.
This ends now.
No, it wouldn't matter.
Oh, he gets, yeah, that's what happened.
This ends now.
Yeah, I feel we like lose ulti cons a lot. Like I feel like we're constantly down. Like we get like one good fight and then we're down ulti con for like 3 fights. Like that's what happened on Busan and that's why we lost it. Is because we were down ulti con.
Yeah.
We're not ult planning.
Yeah, you gotta plan the ultimates.
Start with the
the planning the ultimates, asking if we should use ults. I mean, you guys use both support ultimates and Blade, and I mean Blade's not as important as the both support ultimates, but like Beat in that fight when they used their Matra ult probably would have been so helpful. So they are either the other team is either disciplined with their ults if they're not like planning together, or they're using ults like they're planning the ults. You probably should use max 2 a fight.
Shouldn't we? What Enzaf says, like if the enemy team uses 2, then we can use 3, but no more than that. For example.
I mean, yeah.
But also, like, shouldn't we be going into every fight with talking about an opening ult, a mid-fight ult, and then, like, just say, for example, we use Beat to sustain? Should we not be talking
using
about that?
Mid-fight is hard to plan because 99 times out of 100, your mid-fight plan will not work out the way you wanted it to.
Is that when you suggest saying, should I do this?
Yeah, like once the mid-fight happens, be like, like, do we need Beat here? Like, do we need Suzu? I mean, I keep saying Suzu.
Okay.
Do we need Rush? Do we need Matcha ult? And someone will say, yes. Or someone will say, no, we're good.
Well, you know what, I think, Ed, you have he does that. He asks, like, should I ult here? So I think we just kind of continue with that, Edge. Like, you know, having more conversation about it. Okay.
But I mean, you guys gotta lose that fight there because Monkey face tanking those 5 people is gonna die. I probably would have tried to set up maybe like a play where you kind of separate them. I mean, Monkey's probably just not ideal here. That's probably, I mean, we have to like improvise. But I'd probably say have supports play on cart. Maybe Parker plays like right here. Or I'd probably say like, right here is probably good. And then Genji can be like right here. And then as soon as you see them drop, you just run behind the Ramatra and bubble him. And then the DPS can help you because their Ramatra most likely isn't going to kill both supports at once. Because if their Ramatra's alone, like both supports 2v1ing someone, they'll never kill them because it's so easy to heal each other. So like if you separate the Ramatra from his team, and just go on his team, especially since they don't have Suzu. Like, you're probably gonna kill them, and then he's just gonna get cleaned up at the end. So if you had Ramattra, it probably would have been easier to like stand here and use your shield and then Nemesis. But if you're doing something different, you have to, you know, kind of plan differently for it. And you guys, what happens is they just kind of drop. They used that really early as well.
10 seconds remaining.
He uses that early too. He just wastes all of his abilities.
This ends now.
Who does?
Ramatra, he uses both his nade and shield like before the fight even starts.
His nades
This
were horrible.
ends
Like,
now.
I noticed that too. Like he didn't, like he wasn't disciplined with him. He was just tossing him.
Yeah. That's, I mean, new character, and you know, we'll toss in a little bit of a lack of skill in there then.
Ready for
Rissa,
battle.
okay. The Mercy.
My horse isn't that good. Like I don't know. Like I can play Ramatra pretty well and Hog decent. That's about it.
Horse is a really hard character to play because I struggle playing her because you have to do like mostly nothing. Like it's such a weird concept of a character where unless you're playing like a super aggressive comp with her, which isn't really her best strength, most of the time you just need to stand in front of your team and just block damage. Like that's all you do. Like you use, like the cycle is usually like javelin spin, then fortify and javelin like throw, and by the time the fortify ends you'll have your javelin spin back, and you just kind of get in the way of them, and it enables your like sojourn, and we also run like a Phara with it, as pharmacy with it as well. It enables them to like get as much damage in as possible like during that beginning of the fight because you're just kind of like standing in front of their team. It's a really hard character to play because of just
So you
being
play like
disciplined and doing
Overwatch
nothing.
Orisa, but instead
Basically.
of one cooldown, it's 2.
Yeah. It's hard to get
Okay.
aggressive with Orisa because if you use her like spin to get aggressive, you can't really use it to help yourself escape or like stall. So you're kind of just like pushing yourself into their team to where you might be able to die. I mean, it's like you have to rely on your support so much if you're gonna play an aggressive Orisa.
Yeah, no, they play this fight really well. I remember, and we play pretty bad.
I mean, they don't even push the cart here. Like I would probably have Soldier on the cart if they're gonna play the Soldier. Like here's 15 seconds where the cart's not going up.
I didn't know where to position myself, to be honest, in relationship to our Orisa.
Yeah, I was trying to help Murph there, but or
Let's
whoever
see where
was
you
in the
are.
build.
I would just stand
Yeah.
where Parker is.
I see.
I don't know what he is doing. This is not a weird. This is a terrible spot. Like
Oh, they were under. They were. See, he was trying.
yeah,
to
but
fight
like he
back.
can't see anything though. Like if they come up here, he has to walk up here. Like that's like 3 seconds of not shooting them.
Yeah.
Like look at how much of the fight he's not in there. Yeah, I think you might have went a little bit too far, Murph.
Yeah.
You don't want
I
to be
got
directly behind him all the time. You want to
Okay.
play the space he gives you, is what it is. So like if he's going this way up here, you don't have to be right here. Like if he's playing up here, it's because he's giving you all this. That's why.
I see.
So like you can play right here. You can play even like right here, like shooting through this door. You can play over here. You can play up here on the natural cover. And you have the abilities to get out if you need. But if you play too far and you get into like the scramble where you're in between, like the enemy team is like the blue and they're like going like this, and you're in between them and you have to most likely TP into them to get out.
My thinking, I thought, was that I was going to try to do a little bit of poke damage, but that should not be the
That's not really the main
priority.
priority, no.
right.
Especially
right.
against this comp that
I
they're
see that.
playing with the Marmatra shield. Like you're not gonna get any poke. You're maybe gonna do like, since the Kunai only does like I think 30 with a body shot, and you're not
Yeah.
headshotting the shield. You're basically doing like maybe 60 damage and then dying.
Okay.
So always
Yeah.
play the space that he gives you and not like just right behind him.
Okay. Heard.
Especially when Ramatra Nemesis forms on the Orisa, because it goes through him, so it might hit you as well.
That's what happened, really.
That happens a lot.
Like he went right for you. You see how
Yeah.
he walked by you, went right for you, and you
Yeah.
died because you had to TP into him.
Yeah. Okay. So fucking up.
And then you guys just get destroyed.
Mm-hmm. That was such a... It's actually kind of helpful because that specific moment is like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And I knew
Yeah.
I was not in the right spot.
Mm.
Okay.
And if you're really confident in your ability to get a kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can I would probably not play right there, but if you're so confident in yourself that you can do that, play right there. And as soon as Ramacha walks up to you, you have your supports that are like right here. You can TP over here. Don't TP to the Orisa. That's probably the worst one you could have TP'd into because they're going at the Orisa. Right?
Okay.
So you could have TP'd right here and maybe you might have survived. Maybe.
Okay.
That's an alternative. If you want to play that aggressive and try to get those kills.
I think I'm going to focus on positioning. It's using the space given, and then I also have a bad habit of TPing into the tank, which is a big no.
What's like the best way to manage your like gun on Orisa? Like, should you shoot should you tap fire?
Your gun?
Or should you,
I just because the cooldown rate is really fast. I just wait until I hear the sound, until I start hearing the it starts getting like higher pitch, the bullets. I wait until I hear like really high, and then we can watch what he's doing. Where's he? Or I can watch what you're doing actually. You're him.
I think I'm sick.
Like when it gets to like right here, that's perfectly fine because you see how quickly it drops.
I shouldn't have W keyed there.
Yeah, maybe not. Be careful against Ramatra specifically, like when you're using your javelin, because the javelin's really good at dealing with him when he's in the Nemesis form and when he's ulting. So like if you have Fortify, which is probably the worst one to deal with him. It's still a good ability, but it doesn't deal with him that much. Like as soon as Ramacha Nemesis forms, I will wait until he gets to where I am, and then I will javelin him back. If he walks up again, I will push him back and deny that whole thing. But if you use it too early, he kind of notices if you notice, when you javelin, he immediately Nemesis forms. We'll go back to that. Which one is this? F6? There we go. So he's kind of standing up here. You javelin him. You see how he Nemesis forms? Because he knows that you have one less ability to deal with that. But he's so low that he can't come in. So if he was full health, he would have run right up to you. Because he naded you and he used Nemesis form. He was ready to commit. But he didn't have enough healing. I don't know why they're running Moira.
That's all they ran. I don't think they
I don't know why he's playing Moira. Maybe he can't play Kiriko.
I think I just got too aggro here. As soon as, especially since Foxer got picked, I should.
I think at that time you could if you like saw in the corner of your screen that the soldier was up here. What you see how he's right there? I would immediately spin into him and just move him away. If you spin into him, he will run away, and you might have been able to save Fox here. So just like getting in the way, because like if they back up here, they're behind the cart. Then you don't really have to deal with them at this second. You see him right here. I would, push him away and then back up, and you might have been able to save Fox. Might have. I don't know how he died. He might have just been like immediately headshot. He was standing in the nade, and then he walked up and then got okay. That's just bad. That's bad play from him. But I mean, you also could have notice it, and that's the burden of the tank, is you have to you are partially responsible for making up for your team's mistakes. Good job pushing him back. Good job with that. That was a good ult. That was a good E. I will say.
This
I should have
ends
kited the other
now.
way. Yeah, because then I
Possibly, yeah.
get over.
This
That was
ends
also way
now.
too aggro. Oh, I had to use my ult. We were down so much.
Yeah, I mean, this is last-ditch effort here. I'm not really taking anything much from here. You're kind of just trying to stall for your team to get back. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Before we start next match, let me just grab a drink quick.
Okay.
I'll be back.
No worries. All right.
It's so helpful.
So, like, mostly, literally, like, most of the reasons you guys lost those fights were because, like, your pathing was, like, setting you guys up for an uneven matchup or positioning. It's all positioning. And it's always been, like, I've never doubted your mechanical skill, Murph. I always noticed that your positioning was always, like, a bit off. That's not an insult or anything like that. That's just, like, an observation.
It's true. I
Now
feel it
entering
when it's off. I
King's
can,
Row,
I can
ready
feel
for
it.
battle.
I just
And it's hard because you have to think about it a lot. You have to think about, like, if I play here, is this, like, for this theoretical rotate, is this, like, the best place to play? Like, if they rotate this way, is this the best place to play? It's
see.
hard.
Right. Well, I sometimes think about that, but when on maps like Shambhala, or if I'm not familiar with it, I do get lost.
Yep.
So if I ask myself, like, with intention, like, before every fight, that question, which is a great question.
If you keep asking yourself that every time you scrim,
Right.
you won't have to ask yourself anymore.
Right. Because I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Yeah. And I think I noticed something here. I want to talk about it first. So something that, like, is like a tank. Sorry, were you gonna say something, Edge? Sorry.
No, I'm
He's back.
Okay, you're back. All right. Oh yeah, I heard you. That's why I started. So when I play tank, and it's like, I feel like it's my greatest strength is that it takes me a second to look at what's happening and pick what to do. Like, I feel like I've developed that over, like, years of playing, especially scrimming in, like, scrimming 4K, 4.2K for, like, a couple years. I was able to, like, get that reaction because because the fights are faster. I'm able to get that reaction and, like, see what's happening. So, like, first, like, the best tip I'll give you to work on is it's so hard to develop this, but you could probably start it. Is the first thing you want to start with is pressing tab, like, as soon as, like, the fight starts to break out, or, like, before the fight starts to break out, to see what they have and say, like, how do I play against this? Like, what's my best course of action? So immediately when I see this comp, I see a Reaper and I see a Mei with Orisa. And Orisa, as soon as that starts, this is kind of like a lost comp where it does two different things. Reaper wants to play really fast. He can't really play, like, slow. That's not really how he does. He needs to play fast. He needs to close the distance. Mei is not how she used to be. She does not want to play fast. She wants to play to, like, bait you into positions so she can wall you and damage you, because she can't really rely on the freeze anymore. So she has to play, like, for just doing damage to you. So she wants to play, like, at natural cover and kind of just, like, poke you with her damage. And Orisa is the same, where she wants to play, you know, anchor a position and allow her team to do damage. But since they're playing this two different comp, like, you want to figure out, like, what's the best way to approach them. And I would probably say the best way is to just get in front behind the Orisa and go after the supports. Mei is
really hard to kill.
She's hard to kill, so she's not a character you want to go for unless she's, like, out of position. You can get the freeze out, ice block out. Yeah. But I would probably just, like, look for someone who's playing a little off and then just immediately ignore the Orisa, because they're playing right here, so they're already ready to play up front. Immediately look for the Kiriko, just run by them. And what Kiriko will have to do is she'll have to either use an ability, like Suzu, to keep herself alive, or reposition herself with the teleport, and it separates the team. So we'll see what you guys do here. I think you do a little bit of that.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So Mei already is playing for a wall. Gets the wall off. And she immediately, that's like perfect. Like she like that's exactly what I said before. Where like if the Mei gets out of position, you force ice block. Like she did exactly that. She went out of position, you forced ice block. Now she has to leave, and she doesn't have that for this next upcoming fight. And I mentioned this goes similar to that first like choke on Chambali where you have to walk up to the stairs. If you're gonna use your what is it called? Your nemesis form. You kind of use your shield a little bit. I'd say it's a little bit of a early use because you can't use it like to take space with it. I would instead hold it because they're already leaving and then walk up to here, use the shield, poke, and then as soon as you see like already ice block's already out, so you can poke and then immediately go in for nemesis. But what happens is you use nemesis really early and you waste a few seconds trying to like get to them. Use nemesis right there. And here's like 3 seconds of that where you don't get any value out of it. But this Orisa gives you so much space to work with. That's unlucky shield. I've never seen that.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't even notice that happened this game. The Reaper gets out of position.
Oh, yeah, Reaper goes way out of position. Capitalize on that. I like what you're doing here. I like how you don't even look at the Orisa until the other person is dead.
Yeah.
Good Suzu. Now Orisa's low. Now you can focus her.
Focus fire is actually really good.
So that was like the best fight I've seen out of you guys, and there was still like maybe 1 or 2 things you could have done better, but that was the best fight I've seen from you guys. This is why I wanted to look at a winning map to show you the difference.
I see. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they played a bunch of Junker Queen as well.
Okay, yeah, and now this is where you go back to that what I said before. So you press tab, or you look at what they're doing. Like, what's their comp now? Now they're running Junker Queen with Hanzo and Soldier. This is so weird. I've never seen anything like this before. I don't understand what they're trying to do. He's playing a super fast, like, Junker Queen is literally the most aggressive character in the game. She has no room for error, like in a mid fight or like a poke fight. You need to just rush and get into them and kill them as soon as possible because of how like her abilities work. Like pull them in, use the axe. You know that's all close range. Once the rush ends, you're really vulnerable. So you want to get the fight done quickly. And I don't know why they're playing super long range poke Hanzo, shield break Hanzo, and Soldier. Like Soldier's pretty bad to be honest. Like. He's kind of a worse soldier, a worse Sojourn, and a worse Tracer. He does both of those, what both of those characters want to do worse. So like if you want to, like he kind of flanks a little bit, but Tracer does a way better job at flanking. He pokes with the burst damage with the Helix rocket, but Sojourn does it better. So I would advise not playing any Soldier right now because you can play characters that do it better. But how do you deal with this now? You can play either 2 things. You can play a safer way and wait for the Junker Queen to push in because, like, if these guys push in with her, like the Hanzo's probably gonna die. There's nothing you can do about it. He's a Hanzo. He can't push into you guys. So you can either wait for them to push into you and then like Nemesis and nade them and just like destroy her backline, or you can play super aggressive poke and force him to use the rush like defensively, and then you can just like bull rush them. So those are 2 ways you can play it.
I think I die because they noticed I was out of position.
Yeah, you were a little out of position here. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely were a little out of position. And
I should have went for the mini.
You should maybe, but I would say like in that case, the best thing you can do, there's 2 things you can do. First, your supports can let you know that you're too far up. Second, like...
Oh, they were.
They were? Okay. Second, yeah. I just kind of like when I'm walking up to a fight, not during the mid-fight, but if I'm walking up to a fight, I'll just do a quick 180 and see what's going on. And if they're way behind me like that, I won't go in.
You get a pick here, so you can
So one tip I'll give with Ramacha's ultimate is it's completely okay to use it at the beginning of a fight. Just be wary of like what abilities they have. Like if they still have like Lucio, Boop, and Speed, if they're working together, they can easily avoid the entire ultimate. Like he can boop you back and speed back, and then they're gonna be gone. So just be wary of like when you use it. Like if you want to use it like right away in the fight, either push up with your shield and then use it so you can kind of like push that space before you use it so harder time for them to speed away, or like try to get amp out or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to get amp out. Maybe like focus him so he amps himself.
This ends now.
Really early rush from him. They have to beat, counter beat. Yeah, very early rush from him.
I've got you in my sights. Got you in my sights.
That was a pretty good fight. I would say that it looked kind of close because the soldier killed 2 people. The only reason he kind of did that was because you didn't get aggressive enough on them like fast enough. Because like what happens is look at how much time this guy wastes going all the way around up here. Like he wastes a good 9 or 10 seconds where he's not in the fight. So it's a 4v5.
Yeah, Lucio's also split.
Lucio is over here as well. So I would probably either go on the Lucio or just have your team bum rush with you. And Murph, this is when you can go with them. Like if you're going to attack a lower number of people, like a who have like 3 and you have 4, you can go with them. I would be okay with that because then you can just kind of like get this done earlier, and most likely you're gonna kill these 3 people like before he gets up here. And then if he ults, like I don't know, he kills 1 person, but fight's already over. Yeah.
Recharging.
So you do that. You do just that. You go right in, but then you back up for a second and you go right back in. So that was fine. Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, my nemesis. I think that was a pretty good shield because, like, can Kirk heal through shields?
She cannot.
So, forcing her to come to her Junker Queen.
Yeah. Yep. Something similar you can do that similar with, like, Sigma. So, practice. This is like nobody's fault other than the DPS. The DPS, both DPS players, when I'm looking at, they play very linear to like a bot, and that's nothing against them at all. It's not like an insult. It means that they don't play to like give themselves an advantage. They just kind of play up. They kind of like play on cart or they play up. Like Sojourn should be up here. Like Soldier should be like, I don't know, going around here, or I don't know, at least behind cart, like, because he's like, watch what happens when they push up like this.
Well, I can share this with team. So
yeah, I'll post it on YouTube. I'm gonna post it on YouTube.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
You have my account. Like he just kind of like walks into poke. So, I mean,
That's because I'm out of position, or
you're not really out of position. He's just, I think there's one of 2 things. Either he has to notice that you're kind of like playing for health right now and playing to live, or you have to tell him that you're playing to live and he needs to not go in like that.
Who's he? Like which,
Foxard. Because he kind of like, because he is literally like, you might think that like, oh, they're so far away, nothing can happen. But they have a Hanzo. So he's like taking this much space against a Hanzo with no shield, no tank in front of him. Like he's bound to die. Like he's out of position right here, which is crazy. Like that's he's out of position when he's playing right here. And then same thing with Parker. And then you guys just have to leave. And the fight didn't even start yet, and you lost because of like one little thing.
is it better to like jump back up like with a Ryan shield, or is it better to like just hold your block?
I I actually don't know that. I've never tried that before. That would take some experimentation from me. Yeah, use a few ultimates here.
We didn't even use anything. Unless, oh no, they inted here. They screwed up.
Yeah, this was the one that I highlighted with that ultimate. Is like, this is a good like ultimate because it's like the mid fight right now. But like, theoretically, when you use this, you can only kind of get chunk of pain. Like, he can easily run away, so I would probably wait until like you get to here, because then you can get everybody. See, he easily runs away. They go away with that. They have the rush to speed out. So, but you eventually get a kill with it. It's good. But you could have killed 4 of them. That was a pretty good fight. I mean, you guys did a really good job, I'll say, like, at kind of kiting back and using natural cover to wait out the ultimates, and then they got super overzealous and went right in to try to kill you, and then you capitalized off their mistakes. So that was a really good fight. That was probably your second or first best fight of the whole map, I'd say. I'm not opposed to you doing that.
Time for the reckoning.
Just play the game here, Rex. That's like 4.
They don't even care that you're there. Tank doesn't even. I don't even think the Junker Queen knows. To be honest, because she would have absolutely turned around and helped you to help them. But that's also a good indication that you like trust your supports and your team to like keep themselves alive, because you are taking away 2 people for 1, so they're fighting a 4v3. Your team is fighting a 4v3, so the confidence that you can have in your backline to deal with that is like that's pretty good. I'd say that, like, if you're confident enough to go up like that, I mean, they do deal with it well. They have Suzu for the ultimate, so that was pretty good.
Complete.
And you also playing much better
0 to 3.
positioning wise, Murph.
Switching sides.
Thank you. I feel like there is improvement, but
And I think it's easier. I think Ramatra is easier to play position wise because you're kind of like, because Ramatra is like playing in a straight line like against their team, but Arista's trying to like hold a circle, I guess. Hold a circle if you like. This kind of doesn't. If this makes sense, I'm kind of just making this up on the spot. But like Ramatra right here can play up here and like block like consistently, so you have like that one avenue to look at. But like Arissa can't really just hold a choke like this. She has to like hold natural cover and kind of like play and like to hold this, because she can like, you know, spin and javelin somebody over here. So it's harder for her to play one like lane of damage. So it's harder for you to like realize like, where do I go? Like if I play right here, someone come over here. Like if I play over here, am I too far away? But it's easier, I think, to play with Ramatra position wise.
yeah. I have a question on defense, positioning of tank, like holding statue, but as they're like, as the fight starts, sometimes edge goes to the left of the statue as you're facing their spawn, enemy
like
spawn.
This, it goes over here.
Yes, and we're all holding by hotel.
Okay.
Should he be holding to the?
Well, let's see when
between
the fight
hotel?
starts and see what's going on.
Oh, right. All right. We haven't even started.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, first of all, this is I don't understand. Like I'm not bad, but like I don't understand why we have a soldier and a sojourn and none of them are on high ground. Like look, like they're just kind of like sojourn should be up here or back here, and soldier should be up here, and they should just completely rain damage down on them. If you're gonna play this double, you know, hit scan comp like this, like soldier's not really hit scan, but like she does like kind of the same job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they did against us on Esperanza or whatever, the enemy team.
Esperanza,
Like,
they're playing like off angles on high and just kind of like poking. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I realize, that's how they won like the entire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So the way you want to play Sojourn is you don't want to be forced to reposition. Like, you don't want to have to use your slide to reposition. You want to hold a top high ground or an angle and just completely rain down railguns, because you don't want that downtime of having to reposition or putting yourself in a bad position by, like, you know, sliding. Like, say he plays right here. So he's shooting from right here. He slides over here. This is where he's going to end up probably, and he's vulnerable. He's playing up here. The only way he has to slide is if, I don't know, Hog goes under and goes up here. Like, he takes that huge angle, especially when they're playing this comp. Like, if he's playing back here, there's nothing that will touch him. And he's just constantly raining down damage. Constantly. And Sojourn is best when she's just constantly, you know, railgunning people. So you don't want people to, like, get in the way of that. And then Soldier, which is, I guess, fine on defense, because, I mean, you can take angles. Like, he should just be up here shooting down on them. He can run over here. He can, you know, I guess jump over here if he wants. Probably worse angle, but he can jump over here. He can heal from up here, you know. He can heal himself, so he doesn't have to really worry about a support. So I'd say that part of it is, like, this would maybe be a good angle for you, Edge, and maybe right here as well, if they were taking those incentives and playing up on that high ground. But since the team since they have to wait, since they're playing right here, they have to wait for their team to take space to do damage. So they have to wait for you to give up space to do damage. So they're basically kind of like banking on you leaving the choke, which is, like, not very good practice. Yeah.
Yeah, Widow got a lot of space.
So you got some really good peel there. What I'll say is that they weren't really doing much. I don't know what they're doing here. Like I said, you know, we identify what kind of team comp they're playing, how we handle this. When it's a hog team comp, the comp always plays the same, no matter what heroes, no matter if it's Tracer Reaper, no matter if it's Widow Sojourn. It all plays the same, and the hog is just taking damage and taking space for his team. And he wants you guys to play back because he can take that space and maybe get a hook off on you. He wants you to give all this area up for him to walk in to try to hook somebody. So what do? We go as a team. You know, maybe Soldier can be up here. Most likely the Soldier will be like a trace or something like that. So this would be helpful. You go up in front of the hog and you just destroy him. Like, just get in his face, force Suzu, and then once Suzu's forced, you can go on their team. Because Ramacha is really good at dealing with hog because he can, like, you have so much to deal with him. You can shield in his face, and then when the shield goes down, you can just Nemesis form in his face, and he can't do anything about it. Like, if he hooks you, he's not going to do any damage to you. So you can just get in his face, and as soon as Nemesis form ends, you have the shield up in 2 seconds. So you want to be pushing up on space on him to avoid, like, letting him have that space to hook you.
Yeah,
Give up a lot of space. You kind of give him that avenue.
And then we take it back.
He also doesn't have heal and they use, like, you guys gotta identify this. Like, he uses Suzu and heal. Like, you should just run in and destroy him.
Like, even if I don't have them, because I don't think I.
Absolutely, yeah, just right in.
Okay.
Like, watch. See, he uses hook. He's half health. Here comes heal and Suzu. They're not coordinated, so he has to do. They use both of those. If you guys are playing farther up, right? Like, so, like, say the positioning. If you guys were playing perfect positioning, you'd be like maybe like right here, a little bit farther up. Boop would be right here. Murph would be maybe like right here. Parker it would be up here, and Soldier or Tracer would be like over here. So let's pretend that we have a Tracer. As soon as you see that come out, you just run in and just destroy him. And Parker can either slide in and help, or he can shoot from there, railgun them. Tracer goes behind, pinches the supports, pinches him, and he's dead. There's nothing he can do about that. He's dead. He has no heal. He has no Suzu. And he's also low health. He takes a bunch of damage. And the nade. Like, you use that nade, that's when you go in. He's slow. But good peel from them. Deal with that.
Yet how we even lose first?
I don't remember. We'll have to see. I think Boop gets killed. I think that's what I remember. Parker with a huge kill on him. Oh, you get hooked. Yeah. Yeah. So you see what happens here is that you get out, but watch what happens.
I get Suzu. I think I get speed.
Yeah. So he gets killed, right? You get hooked. So all these abilities that are being used in this fight: Soldier nade, your nade, your Nemesis form. So I mean, it lasts. Like, they should go in as soon as your Nemesis form ends. So let's see what happens. Like, they should be kind of going in, taking the space while waiting for the Sojourn. They don't do that. He uses, what the fuck is this guy doing? They use Suzu. He's going in without Suzu. Now he does no heal. Now you should go in. Yeah. See what happens? So like,
We didn't go in time.
Yeah. So that was the second time you could have gone in there. Here's the second time you could have gone in. If you're holding this choke and Boop's playing up and Parker's up here dealing damage on him, like, he doesn't have to wait for the hog to turn the corner to do damage. If he's hanging up here, he's just doing damage to the hog. If the hog looks at Parker, he can just slide away, avoid the hook, and you're doing damage to him, but he has to wait until hog rounds this corner to do damage. And then you'd be up here. He'd be up here. Hog uses heal, boom. Speed in, Nemesis form, if you have it. But you guys back up. You have Nemesis form, but he backs up. He gets a lucky hook on Boop. Boop's dead. He's dead.
This ends now.
Oh wow, that was weird. But he pushes up so far that you can kill him. But most of the time, that shouldn't have happened.
This ends now.
Boop dies again. Wonder if her positioning is off. Yeah, I don't know. She kind of gets lucky hook. I think she was going for you. I think he was going for you.
Yeah, it's just a hog moment.
Mm-hmm. She jumped right in there.
Yeah. That's not.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that it's your fault, Edge, but I think there's something different you could have done here. If you like, they use rush, but you also use rush, so you can probably stand in front of them.
This ends.
Push in more.
Yeah. So watch what happens. He rushes. You counter rush. I'm assuming it was called rushing, right? So you say I'm using rush or whatever.
I did.
So you say that. He has Nemesis form, but you also Nemesis form when you're really high health. So you didn't use it to, regain health, right? You used it to, I don't know, do what you want to do, which is like get aggressive. But what happens is when you back up here, now instead of you being right here looking at them, you're right here. So now look at that. Look at what they got. Now they got, ooh, look, there's a Kiriko. Let me go hook her. Right? So if you're playing right here, because you have the rush, you don't have to worry about their rush because you are counter rushing. So you're just going into the fight. This is a complete, commit from both sides. So you're just going to have to fight in the rush and hope you win. But you get pooped as well, and then he gets hooked. Or she gets hooked.
So playing it.
And you win this fight, but barely. Like, look at the trades that are happening. And you also kind of go around here. Watch what you do as well. And then you kind of back up here, which I don't know. Like I don't know the comms, or I don't know what you're looking at, so I can't discern what you're seeing here.
Because Boop got killed. I don't know what I called. I think it might have been play safe or something.
I think it's okay in a normal fight if Boop gets killed to play safe, but if you're using the rush like that, that's a full commit. You're in Nemesis form, whatever. I would just go in and just like,
What, you just try and force a trade?
yeah, try to force a trade. I would either go up here, and if you are confident enough in Murph and yourself staying alive that you can do damage, or just go up and just block. You know, get the guy to look at you, get the guy to shoot at you. You know, maybe Fox doesn't get killed.
It's like you don't die when you block. It's like
Yeah. You take, I think it's like 80% damage reduction or something like that.
That's nuts.
So
That's why it's probably gonna get nerfed.
yeah, it's gonna get nerfed. So get the most out of it. But you guys do the right thing. You're forced to fully leave, but you're forced to now
I think
retake
Parker
against a
thought
5.
that. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. You get whole hogged. So you are forced to recommit like that. And you get killed.
We almost win this, I believe.
I thought you win this map.
No,
Oh, no,
we
you almost win this fight.
This ends now.
Okay, yeah. And I haven't, like, even last map, I didn't see too much from them that, like, screamed they were much better than you. Yeah, like, it felt like you guys were your own worst enemy that last map. Okay, he swaps a monkey.
Yeah, this guy, he's weird.
He wants to play all the tanks today.
I didn't realize we didn't have
Oh, no
healers.
healers, yeah.
He dies here.
Yeah, what is this guy on? Good aggression. Great aggression from you. Ooh, I'd hope... Oh, what the heck?
Oh yeah.
Receive my aid.
No scouting.
He's just like sitting up here. I don't really think... He never shot anybody, so no one really knew he was there.
That's true.
Yeah, I tried to shoot.
Oh god.
And you get killed by it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean... I'm not going to say that there could have been a different way to do that because, I mean, you guys got tired from behind. It happens. One thing maybe that could have made it a little bit better is if everybody went together, maybe you could have killed more people in time to where it was just the Junkrat, and if he killed, like, it could have been like a 2v1 instead of a 2v3. Maybe you could have, you know, Parker and Boop could have killed the Junkrat or something. I don't know. But he was in a position to do that, and it's not really nothing you guys could have done.
Special delivery.
I didn't know. What the heck? We need to help this guy out.
Hello.
Special delivery.
Not so fast.
So he's like not ready for the tracer here. I don't for some reason. I mean, he can hear him too. Go down to 5 seconds here. I mean,
Hello.
it looked like he wasn't ready for the tracer. But you can like he's looking over there so he can hear the voice line. But he's not ready to shoot him. See, he seems surprised that she's there. And then he gets killed. So, I don't know. Might have to maybe work a little bit more on, I don't know, remembering stuff. I can't really understand. I can't really like say what that is other than like you have to like remember that he's there.
Stunner locked.
I think he's doing a one-on-one with one of the.
Oh, you guys can't see that. I probably would have fought that.
Oh.
I would have just fought that 4v5 instead of giving up the point. A 4v5 is winnable. That's
We won one earlier.
it's something that teams are it's hard for a team to comprehend that if you're down 1 you can win. A 4v5 is winnable, and no matter what, like if you're up here, unless you're like way back here, can't fight. But if you're up here, fight on the cart, die, or try to win. Maybe you can ult edge, and maybe you can get a a kill with it. You have beat as well. So you could have won that fight because they had just beat. So you could have maybe used your own ultimate. Maybe you could have won that. You never know.
I died.
You die. A lot of pressure on you. And I also think that's also due to a lack of pressure on their DPS, specifically their Tracer, because Sojourn can one-shot a Tracer, but Soldier, another Tracer would be easy to do with another Tracer. That's just like one of the best counters to Tracer on DPS is another Tracer.
We are falling apart.
Because even if you're worse, you just like force her into an ego duel.
Yeah.
I've got you in my sights.
I should have blocked.
Dire luck.
Monkey feeds hard.
Monkey hard.
Yeah. The problem is that you have to rely with the comp you're running, with the Soldier and Sojourn. You have to rely on winning the dive fight. You have to rely on, because he's gonna jump right by you on Ramatra. He's gonna go right into your backline. You have to rely on winning that fight against the Monkey and Tracer without anybody dying to actually win the fight. And that's how Parker dies, because the Monkey is just in the backline and there's no pressure on them on his backline because you're just running Ramatra. Like Ramatra can do a little bit of, like, pretty decent amount of damage, but if you had like a Tracer or something of that manner, an Echo or something, I guess an Echo could have been better as well. To deal with that, to like put pressure on their backline, it might be a little bit easier, because when the Monkey jumps in, like say you guys are playing back here, the Soldier and Sojourn are pretty out of position, not getting, taking advantage of the off angle, so they're all back here. Monkey jumps in, Tracer's over here. Now it's just Ramatra up here. Now it's like 4v2, and now Ramatra is either going to get killed, or Monkey and Tracer are going to kill one of your guys, and then you guys are going to get killed by everybody else. So if you had that Tracer to help out the Ramatra, or an Echo or something, maybe you could get trades off of that dive. You can go in their backline, get a trade on the Junkrat, maybe on the Lucio or something, and make it a little bit easier to win that fight.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and here they just like they played like shit here. Like they really did.
Present for ya! Fire in the hole!
This ends now. Receive my aid.
Ooh, sick play from Parker.
Gale the Mahal.
Good ult. There's no better ult at just stalling a cart than this one.
That's true. Look at how disgusting that is.
Should I be a Lucio around, or should I want to do a Moira?
Moira can fade away. I'd go for Lucio.
Okay, so just beating them around the points.
Yeah, and this is for Parker. I'm assuming more people are going to watch this. This is for Parker.
Mhm.
I mentioned before how Sojourn wants to play to be able to not reposition. Like, she wants to play on one spot. Watch what happens when you're playing in this position. I'll show you. Where are you? F7? F8? Okay. You're right here.
Powered and ready to fire. Hey.
Suzu. You see it right here. Now you have to do that. And you don't want to have to do that. I mean, you still are looking at them, but what's happening is that it's like taking your focus away from doing damage and trying to get away. Trying to get away. Like, if you're up here, like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to, walk back over here to avoid the pulse bomb, or you don't have to, like, because you're that second when you're not looking, or you don't have to, like, slide back to do that. If you're up here, you're just raining damage down on their Lucio, or something like that. Trying to get, try to force Amp out of him, or Moira, try to force Fade out of her. When you're just kind of like playing frontline and, playing into the bubble and shooting the bubble and stuff like that, you're not getting the most out of what she does. So I'd say play on the high grounds. Play over here is good. Over here is good because if they do jump you, you can get an easy slide away and reposition if that is come to it. But right here, most of the time, Monkey's not going to jump you from right here. If he does, that's a bad play from him. You could play right here on top of these boxes. You could play up here. You could play right here. I guess is probably a worse spot. Probably the best spot is up here, I say, or under here. So that's for you. It dies.
This ends now. Receive my aid.
2 picks from Murph. I mean, good 2 picks from Parker, I mean. And objectively, that's another bad spot for him. Like, maybe if he didn't get that pick on that Tracer, you would have lost the fight. You never know. So you can mechanically diff them, but you also want to outthink them as well. Outthink and out decision make, out position, outplay, out mechanic.
I feel like one of the major takeaways is to play high ground.
Yeah.
And off angles.
This is a better position from him. I think this is a better position. If the monkey jumps, he's in a bad position. He's putting himself in a way because you can just slide away. So he has to drop on them. It'd be worse if he was like right here. You know, this is a much better position. So like I think that's an improvement from itself. And he just dies. And it also helps you deal with the dive more when you're playing at that angle because you don't have to worry about dealing with the monkey. You can just shoot him. You can just worry about, you know, helping your team, right? So you don't have to worry about surviving. Chuck getting out.
60 seconds remaining.
2 minutes left, so they take it with overtime.
No, they don't take it.
They don't take it at all. Oh no, never mind. There's only a minute and a half left. I thought that was like 3 minutes. I didn't notice how much time was left.
They hard staggered.
What's this Tracer up to? What is he doing? Why?
He was trying to move the cart.
Oh, he was trying to C9?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That, like, never
With
works.
50 seconds left, you're trying to C9? Look at how much time he's wasting them.
Oh, don't worry, it gets worse.
30 seconds.
There you go, Lucio.
Guy stinks butt. Oh my god, what is this guy? What are they up to? They're sus. Was it what map was this in the rotation? Yeah, Fox is in a. You know, if he was Tracer, he wouldn't die to that. No, what was this? First, second, third, or fourth? What map was this?
I think it was third.
Okay, so you were up down 2-0.
Yeah.
So I mean, considering this is the third map, you guys aren't missing a beat here. Most fights.
Okay.
Oh, we missed a bunch of the first two, don't worry. We made up for it.
And this map I know, yeah. What was the first one?
Time for the reckoning.
Was it Busan, you said?
Yeah, we shit on the first point, and then, well, we fucked them up, like, for 90%, and then we were down ulti-con for the rest.
Yeah.
Like, dig ourselves out.
Be an interesting one to look at another time, specifically for the old economy.
Yeah. One thing, Edge, this is just for like future as well. If you're holding a point with your ult, like at the overtime, just run at them. Like, and just hold shift, even if you're low. What's this gonna, like obviously if you're like 50 health, you don't have to, but like this is a pretty decent amount of health to where you can probably push them back a little bit further. Because if the Junkrat's in this position, maybe he gets a kill on, you know, Parker or something like that, and then Tracer stalls enough for the Junker Queen to get back. So like, just make sure you're, you know, finishing that up. Because you were behind the cart, it doesn't go through the cart. So.
Right.
Oh, I should have been on top of it.
On top of the cart would be perfect, yeah.
I was on top of the box, that would have been.
Well, I would probably focus Lucio first here.
I think I say Lucio first, but like he's
The
hiding.
ball does get really low, so that's a good change.
And then Lucio was hiding from touch of like he was like hiding, like back behind the.
Yeah. So one thing, Murph, is that I didn't notice any positioning errors from you, at least like throughout most of the map. Like there might have been one or two that I didn't notice, but like since we were watching the whole thing and it's
Did we?
what?
No. Okay. I saw that circuit was in there. We didn't play.
No,
circuit.
that's a weak. That's what is this? Which one? I don't even know what this is. This mine? Okay, cool.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basically everything we looked at. I know Esperanto was
Thank you.
messy, but I mean, if it's the same thing that was happening on Champali, then look at
Yeah,
that.
pretty much.
Also, my game's crashed. The replay system is like making the game fucked. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Stop recording.
Thank
real
you.